Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Still buzzing after that win yesterday, 4-2 at the Emirates, our first home game of the season. The sun was shining, it was like 35 degrees in London and the players were shining. It was a great performance. The atmosphere was absolutely electric there yesterday. One of the best I've seen at the Emirates for years. And there was one guy that stole the show, and that was that guy, Gabriel Jesus there. You see him there in front of the fans. They love him already. 2 goals and 2 assists in the game, and an absolutely fantastic performance by him, and a really, really good day. He should have had more. He was, I think it's Mikel Arteta was saying after the game that Gabriel Jesus actually in the change rooms disappointed, because he thought he should have had at least a hat-trick. He had that many chances. But he was absolutely brilliant. And what it does show you and tell you is that when you do your transfer business early and a player has a complete pre-season, when you have your definite target and you focus in on that, it can reap wonders. And I was reading the other day that Mikel Arteta and Edu have been working for, I think it was Fabrizio Romano, or one of these guys was saying that they're actually working on that deal for Jesus for over 4 months, speaking to his representatives and stuff like that, to get this deal done. He was their priority number one, and I'm just pleased that we've done that bit of business. You know, £45 million now for Gabriel Jesus is looking like an absolute steal. When you see some of the money being spent on players in the Premier League this summer, £45 million for Jesus is a steal. And I tell you what, there's going to be a lot of clubs around looking around and thinking, wow, I wish we'd have got him. We know that Chelsea were trying to get him at the last minute, trying to hijack the deal, but they didn't get it done, and he came to Arsenal, and I think he's going to be a big star at Arsenal, can definitely get 20 goals for the season if he keeps going like how he's been in pre-season and now in the Premier League. Well done to Gabriel Jesus. Of course, we were playing Leicester, and it was a bit of an audition for this guy, Tielemans, playing for Leicester yesterday. Didn't have the greatest of games. I have to admit, he was very, very quiet within the game. But then, I think we kept Leicester very quiet. They had a couple of moments. They did actually start well, to be fair. They had a couple of moments, but a very, very quiet game for Tielemans. And fans singing to him when he got substituted. He came off for Dennis Pratt. And the fans were singing to him, you're going to play for Arsenal. They were merciless yesterday. But, yeah, he weren't that great. But listen, I still feel he would be a great signing for Arsenal. The midfield yesterday was good in Thomas Partey. And also Granit Xhaka, I thought, was excellent yesterday. Got a goal as well. But still, you think below that, in those key areas, do we have that depth? And that is the one thing that worries me a bit. And Tielemans will still make a good signing. Still 1 year left on his contract, as we know. Now, are Arsenal going to move for him now, between now and the end of the transfer window? Or will it be a situation that they're waiting for his contract to run down? That's been another one of the suggestions, and then they try and do it then. Now, I said the other day that there could be 2 scenarios out of this. Maybe Arsenal don't sort of do, make up any noises before they're playing Leicester, because it'd be a bit disrespectful trying to link one of their better players before we play them. Or, we wait until after the Leicester game and then try and make a move. Let's wait and see what happens. It's dragging on and dragging on. But will Arsenal move for Tielemans? And another midfielder that's been heavily linked with Arsenal since the start of the window has been this guy, Sergei Milinkovic-Savic of Lazio. Now, the Lazio president was asked about Milinkovic-Savic and asked about if he'd be moving this summer. And he suggests that, it's going to take a lot of money to get him done. There's been suggestions that, he could be available for around about £42 million, which is approximately 50 million euros. And the president said this. These are his words. He said, Sergei Milinkovic-Savic for 50 million euros. He goes, at that amount, he won't be sold. He's worth much more. So, you know, and he then sort of went on to sort of suggest that he won't be sold at all. I think, listen, if the price is right for Milinkovic-Savic, he will be sold. He's got 2 years left on his contract. If he doesn't renew, they know that next year, then he starts to become a hell of a lot cheaper. But Lazio are not going to sell Milinkovic-Savic on the cheap. It's going to take a lot of money. I'm suggesting 55 up to 60 million pounds to get it done. I don't know. I just don't think at this moment in time that Arsenal are going to pay that sort of money when you consider the amount of money they've spent so far in the window. It's just my opinion on this at this stage. But he would be a great signing. He would be a great signing. I mean, I'm just looking at the squad and I'm just like, we've got a good squad now. Even the subs that we brought on yesterday, you know, guys like Smith Rowe, you know, these are quality players. But I still want to add that squad depth. You know, I mean, it's going to be difficult to get into that top four. And adding squad depth is so important. Now, we're linked with this guy today as well. This is a young player that's really doing well in the Premier League at the moment. And that is Moses Casado of Brighton. He had a great game the other day against Manchester United. Dominated that midfield. He's sort of a box-to-box midfielder, stroke defensive midfielder. He's one of these guys. He's everywhere. He gets the tackles in. Really impressive. I remember him playing against Arsenal last year as well. Still only 20. He is one hell of a player. A lot of people comparing him at the moment to N'Golo Kante, and I can see why, because he's all action, he's everywhere, and of course, he's still only 20. Brighton's recruitment has been unbelievable over the years. I mean, they bought this guy in for £4.5 million from Independiente del Valle. He's from Ecuador. And as I said, he's been doing great things. In that game I said against Manchester United the other day, dominated the midfield. Lots of clubs looking at him. Arsenal said to be very interested in him. Manchester United, Juventus, West Ham, Bayer Leverkusen, just to mention a few. Now, Brighton will be very reluctant to sell him. As I said, they only paid 4.5 million for him. You see his valuation there at 5.4 million. They'd be reluctant to sell him because they've already sold Yves Bissouma. This guy's coming in as a replacement, and look, they're not even missing Bissouma. But if the price is right, I mean, I remember when Brighton played Arsenal last season, I was very lucky that day to be in a box, right? And in that box, there was a couple of the Brighton directors in there, and they were talking to me at the time about Bissouma and saying to me that they would sell him in the summer. And also, I remember one of the guys, one of them director guys said to me, he goes, listen, he goes, we know who we are. We're Brighton Football Club. We're not as big as Arsenal. We're not as big as Man United, these sort of clubs. We realised that, you know, sometimes we have to move players on. We have to get money in. He goes, we're not backed by, you know, billionaire oligarch owners. You know what I mean? He goes, the owners of this club are fairly local guys, you know. So if the price was right, it could happen. But what would that price be? Again, they'd want a lot of money, but, you know, they could earn a lot of money on him. But they'd be very, very reluctant to sell him because, as I said, he's going to be a key player for them. But let's keep an eye on that and see if any bids come. See if Arsenal really turn that into some serious action. But he is one hell of a player. At only 20 years, I'm telling you, he's outstanding. And then, of course, talking to youngsters, Yeremy Pino, we've been heavily linked with him. Those links continue. He started yesterday for Villarreal in their 3-0 away win at Valladolid. Over there in La Liga. As I said, we've spoken about this a couple of times. There were rumours that Arsenal have put in a bid of around about £33 million for him, but none of that has been confirmed. Unai Emery, the manager of Villarreal, admitting the other day that, listen, if the right offer comes in, basically the same as what I said about Brighton, we have to sell. He goes, we have a responsibility to the club. We have to sell these players. So, you know, I think, you know, if the price is right, the Yeremy Pino deal can get done. But is it Yeremy Pino that Arsenal are seeking. We're going to have to wait and see. And it's very interesting for me yesterday to see that Hector Bellerin, not even on the bench for Arsenal, not even on the bench at all. That's completely suggesting that he's going to be on his way out of the club. At the moment, still, as we know, the negotiations trying to go on. He wants to get a Betis move. Arsenal seem to be pushing him to other clubs. Barcelona's one of them. We're going to have to see how that one resolves at the moment. But he wasn't even in the squad for the game yesterday, which I think tells you a lot about where he's going to end up come the end of the transfer window. So listen, thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget to check out all of our brilliant content from yesterday's win. You got the video I did when I was interviewing the fan called Lives, when it was interrupted by the news that Manchester United had just conceded their 4th goal. It's absolutely brilliant. You got to check that video out. I'm going to put it in the card so you guys can click down on it. But it was brilliant yesterday by Arsenal. Good performance. 2 games, 2 wins. And on to next week's game away at Bournemouth. But listen, if Arsenal can add a few, what can we do this season? Come on, Arsenal. Let's do it. Thank you.